Welcome back to The House Next Door,
where real estate meets reality.
I'm Anthony Harris.
And I'm Barbara Giglio.
So this is our third episode in the I can't talk.
The third episode in the city. In the studio. There you go.
The big city.
The big city. Okay, Anthony has a joke.
So this is something new.
Okay, give me your joke, Anthony.
Why did the realtor bring a ladder to the open house?
Oh, why did the realtor bring a ladder to the open house? I don't know.
Because they heard the prices were through the roof.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, cheesy.
So, Anthony, should we talk about
bad jokes?
Well,
yeah.
No, how about how I? Well, this is on par for that because I send you the worst text messages sometimes in the middle.
The New Year's one was.
Yeah,
that takes the cherry on top.
So when I'm having beverages, I will text Anthony just terrible things. Like first, I like not really terrible things, but like we'll just, talk a little shit. I'll be like, can you believe this? And I'll send him like really terrible videos from Instagram, or like, look at that person, or just like my worst self is coming through. And Anthony doesn't judge. And he's like just the perfect person for that because my husband is so like, oh, we should always be so kind and, this stuff.
And I'm like, stupid idiot.
And sometimes I just want to be really like negative and it feels good. And Anthony will allow me to be my worst self when I want to.
Is that a good thing?
It is a good thing. I feel like every friend needs somebody who will let them
embrace it.
Yeah, their worst self and be like, I still love you. I know you're a kind soul. You just had to have a moment. So my husband and I have this tradition on Friday nights that we usually have beverages. We'll have wine. We turn on the jazz.
The dead people music.
The dead people music, because I only like to listen to music where the people are dead. I love Coltrane and Billie Holiday. I just love all the old
dead people
jazz music, and which goes in with my old soul. I could listen to the old music in my old house that Anthony won't let me buy, because he ruined it for me. So we're listening to that. My husband always likes like vintage cocktails. So like I'll do the wine, he'll do the vintage cocktails. He loves an aviation, which is like gin with creme de violet and like maraschino liqueur. And so we're doing our thing. And then we have so much like vintage type liqueur and stuff because we're into those kind of cocktails. And we have absinthe. And we have never drank the absinthe before. And my son is living with us right now. He came home.
You're pimping out. Or threatened to pimp out.
For a house, I will.
And an old historic house.
Yes.
Not any old house.
Not just any house, but an old historic one. And so he works at Neighbors right now. So he was coming home. It was late. So we were in our cups. We were feeling it. And I go,
poor child.
I'm like, let's open the absinthe, Craig. And he's like, we should? You think we should? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's try it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you have to put sugar in it. And so we got sugar cubes for the old fashioned. And I'm like, I put like 4 sugar cubes in one. And Cape's like, oh, I'll do it. He had no problem.
Yeah.
And he's like, so we line up these shots of absinthe. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you sip it. My son just.
Tell me you're classy without telling me you're classy.
He just took it back. Craig took it back. I sipped on it. And then we're like, oh, let's try that again. So we did it 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Plus some wine before.
Well, plus, yeah. I don't know. This is what happens when you start making decisions when you're already a little tipsy.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't make any more decisions about alcohol.
Well, what was the tagline that I came up with? Alcohol you later.
Alcohol you later. And then this is when I was like, we should rename the podcast to Drunk Realtors. and I thought it was amazing.
And then we thought about Listed and Lit.
Listed and Lit, yes. I was texting him all these ideas about the podcast.
They're still good ideas. They might still be podcast 2.0.
Right. And I was texting this all to you after my 3rd shot of absinthe.
And I was having my slice of cheesecake at 54th Street.
And then... Yeah, because you were up and out in the world. I was just in this farmhouse getting lit off absinthe with my husband.
I'm a quarter of a mile from the
So then I got hungry, and I ate half a bag of Cheetos. And I'm laying on the bed. Like, my husband passed out on the couch. He was gone. Poor guy. My son, he's fine. He's like, oh, no, he's just going to go have a Monster and probably drink more and play video games. And then I'm like just crashed out on the bed, laying
with the dogs.
Fully dressed, just laying there texting Anthony all this stuff. And then that's when it hits.
What hit?
Well,
what hit?
I'm getting a colonoscopy next week, right? And I have all this prep that I have to take for the colonoscopy. You know what you
Cheetos, just a bag of Cheetos?
What the real prep is, which will work just fine. 3 shots of absinthe and a half a bag of Cheetos.
Were they regular Cheetos or hot Cheetos?
Hot Cheetos.
Okay, good.
So that is really what the doctor should prescribe.
And you should probably take a shot of Monster.
No. But so I had a colon cleanse.
And I heard about it.
And I gave you all the details.
So we went from drunk podcast to colon cleanse.
Yes. And Craig and I are like, oh, we'll never touch that absinthe again.
And then next week. Just stay tuned.
So this is, there's some weird things you do in your farmhouse when you've had too much to drink. You drink more and then do a colon prep cleanse.
Remember when we took your unicorn?
Oh, he's not a unicorn. He's a pinata. He's a pinata donkey.
So me and Barbara got some wine one time.
Yes,
we drank a little.
You were drinking on the patio,
and then we ended up in the garage.
Because he wanted to see my husband's vintage car, which is a Austin Healey, 1950 something, and then I had my pinata, who's called Pinot, the real estate pinata, in there. And we took...
Is it Pinot Grigio?
Yes. And so we put Pinot in different scenarios in the garage, taking pictures of him. Yeah. Oh, and then we got my leg lamp out from Christmas Story. Yeah. Oh my! And then Craig got out to get the car in the morning, and he's like, "Why is Pinot in my car, and why is the leg lamp out?" And I'm like, "No reason." He's like, "What were you two doing?" And I said, "I don't know.
Don't ask questions."
Okay, let's get to our episode before everybody tunes out.
Because I don't want to listen about your Cheeto diarrhea.
It was absinthe Cheeto diarrhea. Get it right. So this episode,
What a transition.
Yeah, how do you segue from that to this?
So it's a crappy market. So
let's see. Would you want to buy real estate from us or take any advice from us after this? I don't know.
Just have a bottle of wine and then we'll talk.
So this is something we touched on before when we were talking about the conflict in Iraq and how that is affecting.
Iran.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. One of those countries over there we're fighting with.
We're probably fighting all of them.
And we were talking about how that was affecting the market. And so I think we kind of need to revisit that because the title of this episode is, Why Would Anyone Buy Right Now? Why would anybody buy right now? And I really want to talk about that because, and the reason I felt like we needed to talk about it is I was at an urban farm dinner probably like 3 weeks ago. And I was sitting at the table with some really wonderful people that I got to know. And he was saying, he found out I was a realtor. And he said, who is even actually buying a house right now? Like, who is stupid enough to buy a house? Those were his words.
Wow.
And like, I didn't want to get into it because I didn't want to be, we were at a beautiful wine dinner. And I was just like, yeah, it's, there are people who need to move will move. People are always buying and selling.
People, yeah.
I had like a very generic positive response for it, but I certainly didn't want to be that realtor who started like doing my whole pitch, right? And then I was getting my hair done and, the two ladies next to me were talking about, the stylist and her client were talking about who would ever buy a house right now. I mean, you're just dumb if you buy a house. I mean, it's crazy. No one should buy a house. And I realized there's like a lot of people who think this. Yep. And they don't understand, like, actually this
as a great opportunity.
It could be a really great opportunity, but they are also right. It could be a really bad time and opportunity, the wrong opportunity for people. And it isn't just a cut and dry easy market to say, oh yeah, we should buy. It's great. It looks scary. And if you're listening to the headlines, it looks even more scary. I mean, we're bombarded with negativity, scary stuff all the time. And so it's very natural to say, yeah, I'm not, especially if you have an interest rate of, 2% and your home value skyrocketed and then it dropped. And then anything you want to buy similar seems your payment is going to be more than what you have now, right? So I get that is the truth. There are some hard truths about where not buying right now does make a whole lot of sense. And do you feel like you've run into this too?
Yeah, and I struggle with it individually with myself. I want to buy something, but I'm stuck in that low interest rate with the low sales price.
Yeah.
And I want to keep my house. So I'm stuck individually. Like I just had a client that we sold and I was jealous of his payment. So I'm like, I could buy a house out here and make it an investment. So I feel like individually I struggle with it. And then most of my clients are in the position where they want to move. And, you know, they ask me, how's the market doing and stuff like that. And, you know, we, as realtors, I think it's our job to advise them. And and tell them, you know, that what we're going to go into with the episode is when is it a good time for you to buy and when is it not?
Absolutely.
And it's individualized expert opinions. Like it's per the person, not in the situation. Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah, I was just talking to a client I hadn't talked to in 5 years on the way to my lease listing that I was doing. And he said, I think I need to sell my house. He's got renters in it, and he's planning on going back to India, which he's going back to India a lot because of the climate of our country. It's just easier for him, and India is paying a little bit better, and there's some stuff going on over there that makes it more appealing. And so he's trying to get all of his U.S. properties kind of consolidated and liquidated. Yeah. And he said, but I'm not planning on doing this for at least, 2 years, but I want to start the process now. And he said, I said, I'll run the comps and we'll look at it. And if it looks like we're going to hit that number, we can realistically hit that number you want, then let's go for it. If we're not going to be able to hit that number within, a buffer, then hold on to it. And that's what I'm there to advise. I'm not there like, oh, yeah.
Let's put it for sell sign and let it sit there for months on.
Yeah. So we are real estate advisors. And sometimes it is our job to say, no, this isn't the right time. I can't guarantee that a year from now will be any better. But for what you want to do right now, you're not going to meet your goal. Yeah. And I don't want to mislead you there.
And so you're disappointed. Something that I tell my clients is, I'm like, it's not my money.
No, it's their money.
I'm not telling you how to do it, but from what you've told me, this is, if you're very payment conscious and you're right at that payment, then if it were me, I don't think I would want to stress myself out that way.
Right.
And right now might not be the time, but that's your decision, your money.
Absolutely.
And, how often does a realtor tell you not to buy a house? Yeah, we're probably the only ones.
Well, no, my mentor, Christina, and she's going to be in here. She's going to be one of our first interviews. She's like, I talk myself out of taking more. I talk my sellers into staying more than I do. She's such an honest realtor. And that's why I've always loved her as my mentor, because she really looks at what the people need. And it is their decision. But she gives them all the different
data
scenarios. And then when they say, what would you do? She honestly says, hey, if I were in your position, I would hold. Yep. And so I respect that. And that's what we're there for. We're not there just to sell their house. We're there to give them advice. Not legal advice. I almost said legal advice.
We're not attorneys, Barbara.
I almost said legal advice. I'm there to give you legal advice. This is unsolicited legal advice.
This is Barb's Legal Hotline 101.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
So do you need hot Cheetos? Or hang on, this would be Barbara.
Well, it's like when you made me your accountant. You briefly made me your accountant, and I approved all of your spending. I said, your accountant approves that. Yes, you should buy that.
See, I text Barbara when I need self...
You want me to say yes?
Yeah, affirming.
When you want me to back you up on something. Yeah. Why can't we think of words?
Yeah.
Yes. They're escaping us. Good thing we're on a podcast. Let's just start speaking Chinese.
Mandarin.
But yeah, when I was your accountant for a whole week.
Yeah.
And that was the best week of your life.
I went to the Hyatt. I got a spa. No, not really.
You got a dog?
She's been expensive.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, we're there to give advice and to help.
That's a good advice. I don't know. Yeah. No, it is.
So let's talk about who absolutely should not be buying right now. And, let's go there. Let's say this is who should not buy.
The one that's payment conscious.
Well, and you're right. So, and that's like the number one thing here.
Sorry
I have in my handy dandy little notes.
Yeah, if I'm speeding ahead.
No, you're not. You're great. So the payment stretched buyer, and that means, just like you talked about, somebody who is maxing out every single dollar to get into this home, and then that payment is maxing them out where, man,
if they have car trouble that month.
If they have car trouble, or you have, loss of a job, God forbid, and things aren't getting any more, less expensive, right? The world is still a little unpredictable. And so if you're setting yourself up where you can barely afford that home on a good day, think how that payment's going to feel on a bad day.
Yep.
Yeah, on a bad day. And so, yes, if that's the way you want to go and home ownership is that important to you and you're going to figure it out, we can make that happen for you in the best possible scenario. But that is somebody who maybe should hit pause for a minute.
And I have an example of this is I was shown last year a guy in Georgetown, and he was paying cash for the house. But the tax rate was sky high. And I told him, his income was he was on a fixed income, very low. And I said, your taxes are going to eat up your whole monthly, you're going to have $200 a month to live off of.
Yeah.
And, and taxes are going to continue going up. So you need to really think about if this is your house that you want to purchase.
Right.
Or if we need to change your budget.
Yeah, very good point. It's not like taxes are going down anytime soon.
And he was paying cash. It wasn't the payment, but the taxes were so high that it made a big difference.
Yeah, and that's something you have to look at too. You look at your payment, and sometimes people don't factor in taxes. We usually put that in our payment, but sometimes we don't. And so the payment stretched buyer really needs to be cautious right now. It's not a hard no, but it's a pause for sure. And then the waiting for the perfect timing buyer. Okay, these are my least favorite buyers.
Same.
And
I have one right now. Well, he's a seller.
They're always trying to outsmart the rates. They're trying to outsmart the prices and the economy. And at the end of the day, there is literally no perfect time to buy a house. There's always going to be a trade-off. You don't get to just sell high and buy low. And
you never know it in the time either.
No, you don't know. Yeah. You don't have hindsight like that. That's, real estate is not risk adverse.
And how many times have you seen a property and then 5 years later you think about, I should have bought that property.
Oh, yeah.
If I would have bought that property, I have that thought all the time.
Well, I listed my house talking about buying high, selling high, buying low, right? I listed my house 2 weeks before the market went insane with COVID. And so our prices were just escalating. And at the time, there was only 2 houses available in all of Cedar Park.
Wow.
And mine was about to go on the market. And the other 2 just went under contract. $200K over ask, $100K over ask, all this stuff. We're starting to get there. Waiving inspections. This is right before everything goes. And I couldn't believe where my home value was and what people were willing to pay. And so I didn't even go to the market. I got an off-market property because it was COVID. I didn't really want people in my house. Yeah. And they gave me more than I could ever expect. And I'm a realtor, right? Again, probably should have had a realtor for a realtor because I was like, okay, this is great. We don't have to open our house.
You left $100,000 on the table.
Oh, I left more than that on the table because the next week, my house was, so I sold it for about $700,000. I got some really other great terms and a free lease back for 3 months. I got some really good stuff. But I could have sold it if I had waited 5 days later. I could have sold it for $1 million.
Wow.
Could have sold it for $1 million. So I told my husband, I'm like, I want that on my grave. She could have sold the house for $1 million, but she didn't.
And then on the other side is I could have bought that house for $1 million, a historic home.
Well, and this is where I told myself is I got the house that I bought for a lot less. So, you never get to sell high, buy, that sell high, buy low.
It all equals out.
It all equals out in the end. And so that's just hindsight. You can't, if you're sitting there just waiting for the perfect time, you're just going to freeze yourself. And then you're not really ready. Yep. Because when you're really ready,
and then you're
that's not going to matter.
Yep. And then you're going to be outpriced of the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say, if you're waiting for the perfect timing buyer, you want those rates to go back down, but you want to sell your house for top dollar, stay put because it's just not the right time for you. That's not the right time. And then, okay, the other one is short-term buyers and sellers. Okay, so this is your buyer who needs to sell in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like they can't stay in the house more than 2 years, maybe 3, and they're
It's not
looking
the
to buy
market.
right now. That's probably going to be tough. It's going to be tough to break even, and you might even dip down a little bit. And so that's going to be one where you might be better off renting.
And, that's one of the questions I ask my buyers when I first meet with them is, how long do you expect to be in this house?
It's a very good question.
And, you never know the answer. But is it 5 years to 10 years, 2 to 3? Like, because that's going to gauge what we look at and how we go about looking at your homes.
Right, absolutely, and how you're able to advise them. If they can be there longer, you can take them to different areas that might meet their criteria a little bit more because they don't have to turn around and resale, right? But if they have to turn around and resale, then you're going to be like, well, we're going to have to go to these markets where you could actually do that. So you're going to have to compromise maybe on your list. But if you're going to stay put, then we can hit that wish list because you don't need to move, you know. And so for those buyers that have to turn around, they know they're going to be temporary, but they kind of just want to have a home and build some equity. It's kind of a tough market to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough market.
It's unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. We've been saying for 3-4 years now, interest rates are going to get better. And they have, but
I know.
That's the joke of the episode.
Like the date the rate, marry the house, and how many people got in trouble because of that?
Yeah,
because they
can't really afford it.
They're doing those ARM things again, those ARM things. Like I have no words today. They're doing those adjustable mortgage rates with the ARMs, and it's with the ARMs. My loan has ARMs, and as soon as that rate changes back to what the market rate is, the rate buy down is gone. Your payment hops $1,000, $500. That's a lot. And so, and we were all so convinced in 2023. Oh, the rate is going to adjust by, January. By January 2024, it's going to be right back. It's going to be below 5%. No.
Is it?
No, it's never seen 5 again, unless you're buying new construction and they're buying the rate down for you,
exactly.
and all that good stuff. But
with that being said, that's if you're that buyer for a brand new home, now's the time to buy.
Oh well, we aren't there yet,
sorry.
You
just brought it up.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true.
Maybe if I looked at our notes.
No, that's fine. But yeah, COVID really gave us this false sense of how much equity we could get in our house, right?
Yep.
So we had this artificial anomaly bump of value, and all of a sudden your house was like winning the lottery. But really, homes only appreciate in a nice, stable, boring market, which is what we talk about. We want nice, stable, boring markets where buyers give, sellers give, everybody kind of meets in the middle. It stings a little bit, right? From each side. Not where we had sellers just getting everything and buyers are now getting everything. And so we like that balance. And when we get that balance, that's when, it's just a better market. And in that market, it's where you're seeing appreciation like around 4%, 6%. For normal areas. You'll always have pockets that are really, really hot
desirable,
and see 16% and things. But typically it's, 3 to, 6%, 4 to 6%. That's basically where you're at. But when we were in COVID times, especially here,
like
we were
25%.
We were like 36% in some areas. And so those are going to have a little bit longer to get back to balancing out. So, okay, the last person who should not be buying right now is the emotionally reactive buyer. And
was that you?
No,
you're not reactive.
I'm not reactive. I just emotionally attached buyer. And that's the buyer who always wants to buy and always should buy. Okay.
Unless you're her realtor, and then you tell her not to.
Yeah. So an emotionally reactive buyer is a fear-based buyer.
Oh, yeah.
They're buying because we're not going to be able to, the sky is falling. We need to buy a house now because the interest rates are going to go up to 12%. Or, I need to sell my house because it's never going to be worth,
They're focused on the news.
They're focused on the news.
The noise.
And here's the deal. If the headlines are making your decisions for you, you really shouldn't be making any major decisions about your finances and selling a house.
Yep.
Just
So
Stay put.
Yep.
Stay put.
And remember, news companies want you to click and watch.
Yes,
they get paid for that, so they're going to tell you whatever gets them there.
So yeah, if you're an emotionally reactive buyer and you're just trying to, you're feeding into this chaos, and you're afraid, those are the people who I'm running into at the urban farm dinner. Mm-hmm. They're the people that I'm running into at the hair salon. They have a lot of fear based, and for them, maybe if they had a reason to move, but I think those are the buyers that really shouldn't move right now because they are really dedicated to those headlines.
And whatever decision they make, they're going to
regret it. They're going to regret it, and they're going to feel like
in 5 years they might not.
They're going to regret it. They're going to regret it, and they're going to blame. Yep. And where does the blame go? Always to the realtor. So you want to make sure you advise those people very carefully. Okay, but then let's go to our next. Who should absolutely be buying a house right now? Who should absolutely be buying a house right now? And this is me. Like, I had a pleasure or a pain point. My mom moved from California to Bastrop, and so I was in Liberty Hill, which was an hour and 10 minutes away from her. And if she was going to be in the same state as me in 20 years for the first time, I was going to go be as close to her as possible. So I had a pleasure point.
Yep.
My mom was coming, so I needed to sell. So people who are growing their families, people who are moving closer to family.
Job.
People who are getting a job. These are pleasure points.
Yeah.
And
retiring.
You don't stop your life because the market.
On the 5% rate.
Yeah, you don't let the market dictate your life. You let your life dictate your life. There will always be people.
Or just listen to Barbara. She said spend money.
Well, all right, let me be your accountant. But there will always be people having babies, losing jobs, dying, getting married. It doesn't matter if the rates are 30 or 40%. There is always a need for people to have shelter.
Yeah.
Right. And so people are buying and selling in all kinds of markets. But these people are, we have a pleasure or a pain point. And so those are absolutely the ones that should buy right now. The other one is buyers who can negotiate, especially cash investors. You're investor heavy.
Yep.
Your investors are like having a ball right now and getting some great deals.
Oh, yeah. The deals, I'm like, we haven't seen them in 5 years.
And we might not.
Yeah.
We don't know. We've got this window right now where buyers can breathe, where they can negotiate, where they can set some really good terms. Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, no, it's really not a bad time to buy. If you can kind of silence all that noise. We don't have these opportunities in Austin very often at all. And I am personally looking for investment property just because I have got this window.
Yeah.
Who knows how long it's going to last?
Yeah.
And so
I'm always looking, but
yeah, you're always looking.
But my financial advisor told me not to.
I said you should. And so that leads into the other person is the buyer who understands this is a strategy market, not a frenzy market. And that's us. We're and our investors and people looking for second homes. And you can absolutely pick up some properties, especially in off the beaten path areas like Smithville. Smithville is going to take off. And right now you can get such a great deal in Smithville, especially commercial property, historic commercial property, and give it time. Give it like 5 years. It's going to be like Bastrop, especially since the film industry is moving so much there. You're only 40 minutes from the airport. You're 45 minutes from downtown Austin. Yeah. It's going to take off. And right now, you can get some smoking deals there. And so it's a strategy buyer. And then long-term holders, we talked about that. Anybody who wants to stay in their home longer than 5 years. Again, this current noise doesn't matter to you. You're looking for your long-term home. You can always refinance later. Sorry, I said it. Date the rate
and marry the home.
Okay. But, the long game, the headlines don't matter so much. You're just looking for where you need to be.
Something, too, that I tell my clients is, if they're looking for a home, their first-time home buyer, buy a new home. Even if it's not your forever home, you're going to appreciate more in that new home right now because they're giving you everything.
Yeah.
That in 5 years, we can hopefully sell that. I don't make promises, but hopefully sell that at a good profit where then you can buy your dream home.
Absolutely.
Or your next home.
You're
stair-stepping.
Your move-up home,
Yep.
right? You don't necessarily get to have your dream home the first home.
Yep,
You have your build-up. You have your levels.
And right now, builders are giving
great deals, great incentives. Yeah. Okay, it's game time.
Yay!
Okay, our game is buy now, wait, or walk away. Okay. And we're going to go through scenarios. I'm going to say them. I'm getting better at how to like do the game.
I feel like next time I need to ask you the questions.
Do you want to do the game next time?
Yeah.
Okay, you do the game next time. Oh, I'm so excited.
With my cheesy jokes.
Okay. Okay, first-time home buyer with a tight budget. We already talked about this.
Yeah, like real tight?
Real tight.
Yeah. Walk away.
Wait. It's debatable. Investor with cash. Buy.
Every day, all day.
Buy. Investor without cash. Buy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Buyer relocating for work. Buy.
Buy.
Yeah, especially if you don't have to turn around in 2 years or
Yep.
so. Growing family where the home office is now the baby's room.
Buy. You're going to be a whole lot happier.
And you're going to get a great opportunity to buy a bigger house while they can negotiate more, because once those rates go down, all of a sudden it's going to be you're going to be paying more for that house. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Layoff rumors at work. Should I buy?
Probably not.
No.
Wait.
Probably should wait.
Yep.
And the client...
Unless you're downsizing.
Yeah, unless you're downsizing. That's true. The client who wants to sell high and buy low. Wait. And don't hire me, okay? I've got a really good friend. I can give you her number. And we know it's not a really good friend.
I bet she talks about you.
It's one of the realtors that is on my short list.
Shit list.
Yeah, my shit list. All right, well, that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us. And
until next week.
Time. Yeah,
we'll see y'all later.